Hey guys, how's it going? Good to see y'all. Hey Mel, how's it going? Hey Carrie, hey Baking, hey Go-Kart. Good to see you. Hey Allie. Hey Felicia. Hey Desire, how's it going? Hey Josie. Hey Numero Uno. Marb, good to see you. It's been forever, it seems like, since Thursday last week. It's been crazy with our holidays, but I did manage to get all 3 lives in last week, which is great during Thanksgiving week. And all right, what does Diana say? I'm gonna go get sick of me next 3 months. No, not sick of you at all. I hope I can help. I hope I can make a difference. For sure. We had 3 people wake up this morning that were that passed, so that is great news. I shared them in our Discord and in our little Facebook thing. We had Michelle passed, and J.E. and then Brittany all passed. They woke up this morning and they had all passed. So awesome news. Hey Susie, how's it going? Now I teach medical coding from the coding exam point of view, not from a coder's point of view. You're going to learn all that stuff when you get into a doctor's office or surgery center or whatever. You'll be able to code and you'll learn from them on how they code their system. But we first need to get you to pass the medical certification exam, which will be the most important thing for you to do so that you've got a license to work and bill. Hey, thank you for the kitty cat paws, Susie. First time hockey mom. She is excited about figuring this out. That's awesome. Hope I can make a difference. Oh no, Desire. You passed too? Yay, that's 4 this weekend. That's great. Great news. Let me take a picture of you saying so. What'd she say? She said, oh no, I'm not wonderful. You guys are. Pull y'all off the thingy so I can scroll back. User 47 says she's happy she found me. It's been a hard journey. Aw, I hope I can make it easier for you. For sure. You just passed yesterday, and it's because of everything you teach. Oh, that is awesome. Thank you for the feedback. If there's anything, hey, Twinkle, there's my right-hand man right there. If there's anything that you wish I would have told you to expect on the exam, can you think of anything? Yes, ma'am. I just passed and took my test yesterday morning and got the results back last night. That's awesome. That's very cool. Nicole's test is this Saturday. That's awesome. I did update what was on the exam the last 45 days. That document, I collect all these conversations I have with people, and they tell me what CPT code or vocabulary term was on their exam. That document was updated like 3 days ago and emailed. So just in case you haven't purchased it, or if you do want it, or you have purchased it and didn't get a copy of the new update, I've got 5 conversations of people that took it in November of 2022. They told me what was on their exam. It's just raw info now. It might just be a CPT code or a vocabulary term, but boy, I wished I'd had that when I took mine. That's super helpful. All right. Yeah, the results come back quick when you take it online, for sure. I am studying medical coding and I'm struggling to memorize acronyms and suggestions. Why in the heck are you memorizing anything, my love? No memorization. We are adults here. We are no longer in elementary school. The back of this CPT book, no matter what year you're in, I happen to have the 23 in it. But looky right here, you got in the back of this book, it has a very nice acronym right there. What if there's something that I go over that's not back here? What are you going to do? You're just going to go write it in there just like that. Get it down. Get it here. Your exam is an open book exam, and you don't have to memorize nothing. Everything should be in these books so you can go find the answer. And I'm going to teach you how to find the answer quickly. There's one more acronym page in this book that you need to know where it's at because not all of them are here. You need to know in the lab and path section there is one more acronym page, and it's after the beginning of the section. It's going to be on page 598 in the 23 book. In the 2022 book, it's on page 600. It starts right there, and there are some acronyms and definitions on these 3 pages right here, maybe almost 4. But that's it. You just need to know where you can run and find these really, really quickly. TLC was one of the ones that was on the exam recently. That's on page 601 if you're in the 2023 book. But your answers are right here in your book. You just need to know your books and know where to find the answers. No memorization. We're too old for that stuff nowadays. Well, at least I am anyway. If I just know where I can go find the answer, that's what I'm going to do. Your book is your Google. So you just got to be able to Google in your book. Hey, PJ, good to see you. I know you're wanting tutoring again. It's crazy. I got 3 tomorrow in the middle of everything. I got one at 9, one at noon, and one at 3 o'clock. It's crazy. It's crazy. Hey, Sunshine. Good to see you. You're welcome on updating that document. Hey, Green Eye. Good to see you again. Where did Desiree go? I was going to ask Desire Warble if there was anything she wished I'd have told her that was on the exam that I haven't said. Main thing, I saw somebody's message today that said, thank you, Jen, for passing. All your information was correct. She put it in good words. She said something about don't overthink the questions. Go straight. Figure out first if it's laparoscopic or open surgery. The main little tiny details in the beginning, which is like the headers first before your descriptors, is so helpful. Like, let's see, if we're in these CPT codes, first thing you need to figure out, if you're in this section right here, and it could be any range of these codes, first thing you need to figure out, am I doing an excision or am I doing a removal or an induction? Because there's different definitions for those. Figure out if you're under laparoscopic or if you're doing an open surgery. Break it down that way first before you go down to the CPT code descriptor. Well, if I'm doing an excision, is it a biopsy? If I am doing a biopsy, am I in the subq, muscle, or bone area? You know, that kind of thing. Super helpful and breaks it down into smaller chunks instead of going in and looking for routes or huge words that might be super complicated, or thinking that you need to know every little thing about every kind of little surgery. You might be overthinking it too much. Break it down by those headers first. What coding and billing certificates are needed these days? Just a CPC, an overall medical coding certificate, or a lot of offices really love risk adjustment right now, CRC And either one of those or both will make you super valuable in the market right now. I heard if you don't pass in 2022, you will need to purchase new books. And I did have the AAPC course. It was not easy. Actually, what I'm going to recommend is you keep your 2022 book for CPT, yes, and just update it. I created a document that takes your 2022 book and turns it into a 2023. There's too many changes to get the new book. And what if your exam doesn't change and you take it in 2023 with the 2023 book, but the exam is still on the 2021 guidelines, which I noticed today they were selling a course today, and this is the very end of 2022, but that course goes over the 2021 CPT guidelines. That course, they're still teaching and selling it today in November, December of 2022. So I don't think the exam is going to change. Anyway, the 2022 book is much easier to change into a 2023 book. But you can't take a 2023 book and turn it into a 2022 book, because the 2022 book has 10 more pages in E&M than the 2023 book. So we delete a lot of codes in the 2023 year, which is easy just to put an X on it and you can still see that. And if I had a question that was asking about these codes on my exam, I can still see it and I can still work it, right? And you still have your notes there, whatever. But the few that you need to add in to for this year aren't that many in E&M. Mostly it's deleting, and we're deleting all the histories and the examinations. And all you're going to get is time and MDM. But what if your exam doesn't change? You need to know if this is a detailed or if this one's an expanded problem focused. So I really just recommend you keep your 2022 books and then just get my $20 document, whatever it is, and then just change it into a 2023 book in case the proctor tells you you need a 2023 book or whatever. But yeah, they add minutes into the ER visits or something like that. But this is just easy to change and update. Super easy. But if you were having to do this in the 2023 book and turn it into a 2022 book, it would be more difficult, because E&M in 2022 book has, let me show you, it has 70 something pages. Y'all know how many it has. 74 pages. The 2023 book will only have 50. I mean, they delete a lot of codes. They delete a lot. Somewhere around there. Yeah, 58 pages, and that's it. They delete a lot of codes. And yeah, that'll be easier. Just keep your 2022. If you're going to get my document. If you're not going to get that document, then I don't know, take both books and just see which ones you need, during your exam. Now, will the online proctor let you have both books out at the same time? I don't know. But at least the proctor in person will be able to handle it and tell you in person what you can do. Yep, it's on both sites. So it's on Medical Coding by Jen, I believe, and it's on Etsy. I even put anesthesia for 2023. It's up on both sites now too. You had external OS on your exam on Sunday. That is on my what's been on the exam in the last 45 days. It's on there. And then I drew that in on the anatomy for my 2022 anatomy for my female. Thank you, Desire. She passed this weekend, and she was telling me something that she thought might not have mentioned. But I mentioned so much stuff, and I'm a rabbit. I'm going around like crazy. But this right here was on her exam this weekend. That internal OS and that external OS. You want to know what they are and where they're at in the body. That right there. That's really cool to know. That was on the exam. Your book is your Google. That is right, Twinkle. I am excited to get tutoring from you tomorrow. Yay, Melinda. We will get going. We will have fun. Thank you about emailing me about the test. That's awesome. Out of sequences. Yes. Out of sequences. Yes. I still haven't done that throughout the entire book. I'm working on it. Lady Love, she failed horribly in the 6000s and the ICD-10s. I just did 2 lives, Wednesday and Thursday, last week, of a bunch of ICD-10 questions. Be sure and watch those last 2 lives. They're free on YouTube, and that will help you with the ICD-10s for sure. Last I went in 2009, I took certification classes, but never took the exam test to finish. It's all right. No need in a course whatsoever. I can get you to pass without a course. 26 years of coding and billing. And she takes her exam on Friday. Just try to remember you're taking an exam from AAPC and their point of view, not from Blue Cross Blue Shield's point of view, not from Aetna's. Try to throw away some of your in real life notions out and focus on those practice exam questions from AAPC, and remember that you need to code or pick out an answer from their point of view, not from your work history point of view. You take your exam in December. You're so nervous. Don't be nervous, Jackie. I can be a little bird on your shoulder and help you out for sure. I can help with burns for sure. Super easy. Yeah, you have to pay to take the exam. You don't have to pay for a course or anything else, but you do have to pay to take the exam, and you do have to get books. You need your reference material, so you'll need these 3 books. What about HitPix? I don't know what 2921 is, but I'm assuming 2022. You do need to get a 2022 or a 2023 HitPix book. For 2023 exam date, you need a 2022 or a 2023. And I have notes at Medical Coding by Jen. It's 1 download. It does the whole HitPix book of what you need to know for that book. ICD-10, there's only 5 questions on the certification exam. The only thing that's not easy, it's coded for you. You just need to pick out some of the sequencing, like what if a doctor gives you a drug and you have an allergic reaction to it? You need to know the guideline with that to pick out the right answer. What if you did it to yourself? You took your Aunt Sally Sue's leftover amoxicillin. Well, there's a different way to code that. They're the same codes, but they're flipped. So you just need to know some of those guidelines. And I go over all that for you. Hey, because good to see you. You're here to see if you like it. That's awesome. Good luck. Just take a deep breath. We'll be with you. Yep. Just take a little birdie on your shoulder. Desire, if you sent it today or yesterday, I haven't checked my emails. I sent 2 over to Twinkle to have her help me do. Somebody was asking, what books do I buy and something else, but the rest I didn't look at. So I haven't looked at everything yet. Sorry. I will look for it and I will let you know if I don't have it. I will hunt you down. There's 100 questions on the exam, Sin. You're taking your exam December 1st, Hale. That's awesome. I hope I can help you out. You saw the live on Wednesday. Awesome. Hey, Bailey, thanks for the follow. I hope I can help you out. I have taken the course for CPB, and I just had somebody pass for CPB. She was talking to me today about it. Yeah, no, you don't need to. Somebody said that they were wanting to learn, but they can't afford to go to school. Don't go to school. I'll teach you how to pass from here. Yeah, they do get pretty tricky with working with the 6,000s and the 4,000 codes. You really got to know your headers first before you do your CPT code descriptors. Yep. The exam is $399 for 2 attempts, I believe, either online or in person. All that information, Heidi, is on AAPC's website. For the CPC study guide, you mentioned any addition will do. Yes, any addition will do. It does all the anatomy and the coding guidelines, which don't change from time to time. There will be some CPT code changes or deletions, but nothing worth mentioning. Like my 2019 book was the same and had the same questions as 2022. I haven't seen the 2023 yet, but I'm sure it'll be coming out pretty soon. You take your CCS next month. Chelsea, that's a harder exam than the AAPC one. Best of luck. You've got that 4th book that you have to deal with, that PCS module. But in my Discord group, if you haven't joined that, I have you guys your own practice room in here. And it is labeled CCS and CCA. And I have y'all your own practice questions in here. And I've posted a bunch of them with those extra codes that y'all have to learn with the rationale and answers, just in case y'all needed some extra practice. But you can come in here and find you some study buddies too. You're not alone. One of my very first persons I ever helped was Janet, and she was taking her CCS. So that was a year and a half ago, so I can help you out too. Thank you, Leah, for recommending people over to me. I hope I can help them. Yep, you've got your $190. Yep, and your CEUs every year. Yep, you'll have CEUs in the nursing career and any other kind of field too. Any kind of medical field, a CNA to billing or whatever is perfectly fine. Anything at all. You'll already know a lot of the anatomy. That's great. But what I was going to show y'all today was just a little bit. People were asking me more about anatomy notes recently. And, sorry, there we go. Thank you for the follow, Well and Kitty. Show y'all some of the stuff that I always put in our notes for the musculoskeletal section, for sure. So, first thing I do is get me out a couple of colors. I like to do, I guess because I found a picture over the internet that was this, and I just kept it the same colors. Make sure y'all can see. There we go. we're going to divide our skeletal system into 2 different body parts and get them labeled. So I'm in the 2023 book. I'm on page 115. And somebody else can say what it is in the 2022 book if y'all are doing it. But we're going to color our skull and our ribs, spine, and we're going to color these because these are our green is called our axil, A-X-I-L, skeleton. It's often been on the exam. In the past, one of those questions, they want to know how many bones are in the axil or how many are in the appendage skeleton, and they might ask you, so just in case you needed to know how many are in here, there are 74 in the adult, 74 bones. Gosh, dog, what's the phone going off? Turn down my drummy beats. All right, and then pink, our pink bones are the appendage. That includes all of these. Hold on, my mother's calling me. Go see what she's doing. What's up, Mom? Oh, sorry. John's on his way to Vegas to get Gabe. He'll be back. I'll ask him when he gets back. My mom was asking for that. My oldest child is gone to go get my oldest child, which is his best friend that he's had since junior high, from the Vegas airport. He's coming in for 2 weeks to stay with us. So I call him my son too, because he's been at my house every holiday and everything else since he was 12 years old. He's 30 years old now. And his name is Gabriel. He's coming in tonight, flying in from Oregon, where he lives. And he's going to spend a couple of weeks with us hanging out. So that's my Gabriel. We've got a Gabriel and a John. That's my oldest son's name. They always said they needed one more angel. They've always been mad at me because I didn't have one more. But then I had Travis and James. But I think I named them wrong. All right. We've got our pink has 126 bones, right? And we call that RAPEN. Skeleton. I can't say it or pronounce it or spell it, but you know, they ask us. We just need to be able to go find the information. So your book is your Google. So if they ask you that question, you'll know how many bones and in general what they are. Yep, Oregon. There you go. Y'all knew what I was trying to say. Other things that have been on the exam is what is the function of our bones? What do they do? So that's why I look up a lot of things with the word function. So I'll just type that into Google and do skeletal system and function. They'll want to know what it does for us. And we'll just list out several of them. They of course protect our organs, right? This is a really good one for A, B, C, or D. Which one is not one of the things that the skeletal system does? So you just look through here and find one that isn't here. Protects organs. It stores and releases fat, actually. Your bones do that, in case you didn't know. Produces red blood cells. Stores minerals. Spell it correctly. Not like I do it. Stores minerals, and it also releases them. And most important thing, it supports the body. Hey Jessica, how's it going? Good to see you. What is the quickest method for the process of elimination? I get confused on what I should look for. So the first thing I'd look for is numbers. Numbers. Just looking for numerical similarities, looking for anything that looks like it's in a row or super close to one another, because most of the time it's usually two codes that have almost the same descriptors, but there's a difference, either by adding modifiers or adding a secondary CPT code or not. It changes the scenario, and they want to know, do you know what that means? A few things that always come up on the exam is knowing that there is a part in this shoulder that is called an ACRON, and then they've got another one that's in this hip joint right here that also is an ACE. ACE. But this one is tab. You see how they love to find words that start off with the same stuff, even CPT codes that start off with the same descriptor. This is ACR and this is ACE, but they're both in joints, and they will try to confuse you on their question. And so if you just label them out here on the bones, then you've got them and you won't get confused. Don't forget, this is what your rib cage. Super easy on that one. It's also called, this space in between here, the two rib cages, is your intercostal. They use that word quite a bit. That's a C. Intercostal. Sternum is also called chest plate. This right here, the top of this, it looks like it's your pelvic girdle area. That they use a lot in the fixing of broken bones. They can take off part of this because you don't need all of it, and then put it across your broken bone, whether it's in your arm or leg, and put screws in it and have it work better than a metal plate. So that is called the iliac crest. And a lot of times the question might not even say crest, it'll just say iliac. And then your difference is in those CPT codes, one of them will use a metal plate and the other one will use a graft. And you just need to know what the difference is. If you see the word iliac, you know that's a graft. And then if you see plate, like a dinner plate, then you know they used a metal plate. Both of them will have screws. So you can't just look for screws and think, oh, that's the metal plate. Both of them will use metal screws. But you got to look for, are they using bone or are they using metal? $29 out of 50. Yes, this will be posted on YouTube, of course. If TikTok records it, yes. Hey, Sand, good to see you. If I missed your message, just ask it again, because I know I'm missing some folks. Thank you for tapping the screen. We've already got 3,000 likes. Thank you for the support. That's awesome. Hey, Bars. Hey, Dee. I hope I can help you pass, for sure. Other things we can mark right here is that this, of course, is your pelvic girdle. And I don't do anything fancy. I just go on Google and, like I said, I do a search for images. I don't know why my font is so huge. There we go. Skeletal system and functions. And then I switch my search to images, and then I just find me something with something that I like and add some stuff. I also use the practice exam questions, and I search those really well. That's where I came up with the iliac crest, because the difference was they used an iliac to do that in one of those particular really tough questions. And then they use intercostal all the time when they're doing those chest tubes. so is the ACR, and so is the ACE. Those all came from just practice questions from wherever. But I like to go see, what's listed and see if I see anything that supports the body, allows for movement, stores minerals. Just look at the pictures and find stuff that says something short and sweet. Super handy dandy. Yeah. And just borrow from a little bit of everything, for sure. Thank you. Now we got 3,300 likes. That's awesome. Let's see. What else can I add to Mr. Skeleton? We call this right here our vertebral column. Vertebral columns. What else? There's always a lot of stuff you can go through here and also do. After you finish this, you could go skeletal system prefixes and then find you a list. I still like to look at images because I like images. They just seem to produce a lot of stuff. And right here, I can start doing root words, prefixes, suffixes, and some root words of common skeletal system stuff that you'll want to know and you'll want to document. A little bit of a list of prefixes, suffixes, and root words. You want to produce and find all the different types of bones. You've got long, short, flat, sesamoid, and irregular. You'll want to have that list up here somewhere too for that. And the types of fractures like green stick, buckle, compression, compound. You'll want to list all the different types of fractures and with your prefixes, suffixes, and that kind of stuff. Be super handy dandy. And then the last thing is you want to add, how are bones tied to joints, tied to cartilage, tied to ligaments, tied to tendons, tied to muscles? What attaches to what? Does a tendon attach to a muscle or does it attach to a ligament? Get you something and draw that out. The joints and how the cartilage is connected to the joints and those kind of things. And then you can draw in a couple of the fractures. Like I know right here, if we were to do a fracture just like that, this equals a type. And this is something from their ICD-10 that we had to code one of these in one of their practice exam questions. And all they had us do was look at the last 7th character digit. Was it an A, K, an S, or whatever? And that's all we had to do. But I took it further and I went to Google and said, okay, if I had a type 3A fracture of the tibia, and I looked at the picture and figured out where it was in the bone, and then that's when I came back to my skeleton and drew it in too. Because not only sometimes you just need to know what the 7th character will be, but it's also helpful to know where in the body the fracture is at. So anyway, what do bones do? They produce blood cells. They store and release fats and minerals, that kind of thing. It's handy to have up there. And what's one of your favorite modifiers for this section? 2 surgeons. A lot of times you have one surgeon working on a fracture of the skull, and then you have another one working somewhere else. Or one will fix the fracture, but then the other one will do the reduction. You never know. Two surgeons is one of the favorite modifiers in this section. And that's modifier 26. That can be important. Some acronyms. I know we've got them in the back of the book, but it doesn't hurt to put a few here, like ACL, BKA, OA, and DTR are the ones that I have here. And then I just list out the definitions. So that should be 100% of everything that you need. 62 is on here sometimes too, modifier 62. I haven't seen 62, have we, in any of the practice exam questions? Probably, but I don't know. But that ought to get you 100% of everything that I've got on here. And then we get to turn the page and do some more, because then we have the skulls. Don't forget to know the differences of the sinus cavities of the vertebral bodies and intervertebral disc are also called something else in the book. Be sure you know how many cervical, how many lumbar there are, how many sacral there are, those kinds of things is helpful. And then when you get to the fingers and toes, be sure you know what proximal, distal, and middle means and where they're located on the bones, because that's super helpful. And then during your exam, whatever you do, don't forget about what muscle names look like. So, like just going over these 2 pages, the next 2 pages is super helpful. A lot of times, if you see the word major or dorsi, then you know they're working in the muscles. Some of your CPT code descriptors in musculoskeletal, the only difference is, am I sub-Q, am I in muscle, or am I down to the bone? And just knowing that you can come here and see trays minor, longus minor, major minor, dorsal minor, longus minor, those little words. And then on the next page, their favorite ones on the exam is trace and it's still the same things. These are their favorite ones that they like to use on the exam. They're not going to tell you they went down to the muscle, but they might say trace or they might say major. Then that will tell you that they did go to the muscle. And don't forget, when you're looking at those, if you're down to the bone, you got to go through your subcutaneous level and your muscle level to get to bone. So when you're doing the process of elimination, eliminate bone first. If you don't find any names that match with bone, then go search for muscle words. Then the last thing you need to look for is sub-Q. Don't assume that if you do a word match and you find something that says sub-Q, that's all that they did, because you've got to go through the subcutaneous level to get to muscle, to get to bone. So eliminate those in reverse order when you're doing process of elimination. But those are the most important. There's a hand one that's in one of their practice exam questions. It's hard to know where the heck it's at. I think that one's in our ICD-10 book. They have those anatomy pictures in it. And they've got one in the hand. One of their practice questions is super difficult. They wanted to know which one was deep in the wrist. Well, none of them are deep. They're all superficial muscles, right? Because you can't go too deep in the hand. But what they meant was, which one is center in the hand, not on the outer layers of the wrist. So you're looking for one that's in the middle, not deep, but wasn't that the exterior carpi? That was the weird one. I hadn't seen that one, but that is that carpi one. See, it's in the center. It's not the muscle that's on the external. Now, who's to say that is deep, but anyway, it's in the middle. Anyway, I haven't marked up this one. This one's also a 2023 book right there, so I got to mark up that one. Do I have new codes for your Etsy notes? Just the same, 30% Jen for Etsy, and I will be CPC on my website at medicalcodingbyjen.com. No, you don't need a refresher course. Not at all. Don't spend any more money. This one is the AAPC version of the ICD-10 book. And I really recommend you get the AAPC version of the ICD-10 and the HipHicks book. If you have not bought any books yet and you're fixing to buy books, get their version. You can get them from Amazon with free shipping, and that's cheaper than buying them from them best. That's better than buying them direct from AAPC because they charge you $25 a book. Even their workbook, they charge you $16 to ship to you. Also, the Big Intensity are really good too. Oh, if I could get that in there, yeah. They're quick dry. Anything that says quick dry ink, and make sure you get fine or ultra fine. You want a super small point to write because a lot of places you won't have a lot of area to make notes in. And if you do like me and you make lots of notes, you're going to want to have enough room so that you can add clinical examples down at the bottom of how you code whatever's on this page, and still have some room to write, maybe even after some of the CPT codes, what's going on in the descriptor. So you want to be able to write small, but have it to where you can see it too. So that's the anesthesia that I just finished for this time. Whew, and I left y'all space. Y'all can still have some more room in there to finish filling out. But first step, of course, in working through this book is to go through and find all the red codes, because this book is in numerical sequence. Some of the codes are out of order. You want to go find where they're at and put a page number down. I put the column number that they're on, but you don't have to do that. You can just do the page number. Then you're going to highlight anything that a CPT code has, if not every one of them will have it, but if it does have a parentheses, highlight what's inside the parentheses. You're going to mark your codes or parentheticals, what comes after a coding situation. When it tells you to use a code with a code, you're going to mark it. And then if it says do not use a code with a code, you're going to mark it. If you're not supposed to bill something with something else, write it next to the code. Super helpful to do. And then any practice exam questions that you have. I had 2 excisions, skin tags, punch biopsies with an electrocardial fine needle aspiration with no imaging. How do you code that? And in what order? You code it with that one, that one, that one, and then that one with that modifier. I got to mark that in red, but that's what you do when you're making your notes. Anytime it tells you to use a modifier in your guidelines, you need to make sure you mark that and move it to the codes if you need it. That's where you start out. I just go through the whole book and just highlight what's in the parentheses. That's step 1. and then I mark when it tells me to use a code with another one, and then I mark my do nots. Anytime a note tells you not to use something or to use something, that's what I do. Anytime there's anything in a parentheses and a guideline, I highlight that because I may move that over to the code descriptors later on. If they're giving you examples, like for an excision of a simple closure, you need to code this with this. I like to highlight those and maybe move those over to the codes. Any kind of picture that you've got, I like to go Google that and look for the functions. What does the matrix do for your nail? If you don't know, you need to know. What does the proximal nail fold do for your finger? What's the purpose of that? You need to write in their functions because they might ask you during your exam. Anytime there's a picture, I go do all that. Anyway, that's a whole bunch to do throughout this. I still got to go find all my out-of-code sequencing on this one. Woo. All through integumentary and surgery. But I got anesthesia done. I don't even know if I got E&M done yet. I'm working on it. I don't have E&M done yet. So far, I've got stuff I highlighted. That's about it. I got to move some examples over, but let's get to some practice questions for tonight. Oh, get a drink. I'll show y'all about the process of elimination, looking for similarities, looking for coding irregularities, how to pick out the answers in the fastest, most efficient way possible. Even if you don't know how to code or don't know the lingo, it's super handy dandy that the answer's right in front of you. I can teach you how to just pick out the right answer with using the book as a guide. Let me move that. Hey PJ, what's up? It's been 10 years since I earned my CCA. And now you want to get that CCS? That's great. Yeah, join my totally free Discord group. I have CCS practice room in here for you guys, that y'all have practice exam questions in here. And plus you can meet up with a ton of people that I've helped pass, and you can practice right here and make notes in your books for your exam. Just be sure and join my Discord group. To find that Discord group and how to join, just go to my website, bring it up, medicalcodingbyjen.com. Just look at the tabs. One of them will say social media. Go straight there. The Facebook's there, TikTok, of course, YouTube. But you'll just join now right there, and it'll throw you right into my Discord group. It's all free. I have rooms for like what to expect on exam day, tons of resources, what camera to use, what to show up with, E&M resources, CPT, you name it. Even job resources in here, just tons of information. Case practices, practice codes, study buddies, CEU help, all kinds of stuff in here. It's all free. Plus, there's somebody in here all the time. So if you have questions, you can just post them. If you're working through a course or something, you can post your exam questions in here. If you don't understand why the answer is what it is, people will work with you and show you why the answer is what it is and that kind of stuff, and help explain things too. So super handy study group. I can't get to everybody and I can't get to every question to help you guys out. So it's really nice to have that system of us. A lot of them have listened to me for over a year and they know how I would reply or know how to help you, or I've already seen those questions. So you can get a lot of help here, even if I'm not around. So that's helpful. all these replays of all these TikTok 2 hours that I do. I do it 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 2 hours. It's all free. I like to teach for free, but it's all reposted onto YouTube for you guys so that you can watch it at any point, at any time, whenever you get ready to. I haven't done these questions in a while. Formatting is all off. All right. Discord is, it's just an app you can download from any Play Store of any sort. It's mostly used for like gamers. And it's a way that you don't have to store your information on Facebook or in a Facebook group. And you don't get all that tracking like with social ads or advertisements. So it's super cool. It's just an app. And in each one of these rooms, like I was in anatomy this weekend and I posted a bunch of anatomy terms here for you guys. Like what's the functions of the bones? And the types of anemia that was on my exam. And what does ARDS mean? That's one you need to have in the back of your book. I just was posting a bunch of stuff in here. This is where all my info is. If I have anything to share with you guys, it stores my data so that you can see it even if you weren't in there when I posted it. The problem with my Messenger or Facebook study group, when I post pictures in here or post anything in here, no one can see the information that's in there unless they were in there when I posted that info. So like if I went to all the media files and stuff, I can see everything that I posted in here, all my pictures of copies of notes or anything that I thought was pretty cool, but new people that join don't get to see this. So then I have to keep reposting everything over and over again every time there's a new student. So it didn't work out having all my data on Facebook group, whatever this is. So that's why I had to look for something different. And this one's really cool. And if you join, you can go to the room that says Discord tips right there. Scroll up to the very first video and you can watch it and it'll show you how to navigate Discord. But all the gamers, your kids will probably laugh at you for getting a Discord. Mom's on Discord. It's where, all the gamers are at, but we can utilize it for not online gaming and it's free. And there's nobody tracking you. I'm not going to know what your username is. I don't get to see any of y'all's Gmail accounts or whatever email accounts. I don't have access to any of y'all's info. You can message me here. You can see I got tons of messages as always. And, I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. But, yep. And anytime somebody mentions me, I get these notifications and I have to go to the rooms and let you know. And then it's pretty cool. It's pretty handy dandy. And it does store all my info in there. So y'all can squirrel and find it for sure. All right. We're going to do Integumentary question. Does one of the books have a claim form in it? I don't think so. My AAPC HIPICS book is the closest. It lists out what some of the, what line number on a claim form gets what. Other than that, I don't think so. All right. How I would do this question right here is I would ignore all those second and third and fourth codes. I'm only looking at the first set of numbers. And the first thing I see is we've got two that are little bitty numbers, 12002 and 12005, and then I have two that are higher up numbers. And what's my differences between those two sets of codes? What's the 1200 codes header about, if I went to that? So those are simple repairs. And then the 30s are intermediate. So their question is wondering, do you know the difference between simple or intermediate repairs? There's a definition list if you're in the 2022 CPT book on page 106 that talks about the differences between those simple, intermediate, and complex repairs. One of the main important, super important sentences is the last sentence on the second column of that page, where it says single layer closures, heavily contaminated wounds that have required cleaning and removal of matter can be coded as intermediate. That's usually on the CPC exam. So even though we only did a simple closure, if we had to clean it and get debris out of it, we can change it to an intermediate repair. So that's one thing. No, you don't need to be certified through AAPC and AHIMA. No, not at all. One or the other. Not correct at all. So we're going to look in our question. We're not going to read the question. We don't need to know how old they are. We don't need to know their past medical history. All I need to know is, what did the doctor do today? Did the doctor do a simple repair or an intermediate repair? Remember that you're going to code the most difficult procedure first is another thing. So anytime, just in case you would ever see like a 12002 come before a 1200 or just an 034, that would be a coding irregularity, and it wouldn't be something that you would code. You want to see something where you've got the biggest numbers here and your smaller numbers in the back, for sure. So one more thing to check out. So let's see, did we do anything with any layered closures? And that's all I'm looking for. I'm not reading the question. I'm not caring about adding numbers together. What did we do? I do see the word heavily irrigated. So I know right away that wording gets rid of C and B. And I know my answer is going to have to start out with an intermediate closure because they did that heavily irrigated, because that guideline that I have red highlighted on the exam noted that's super important, that anything that was heavily contaminated turns into an intermediate. So I know right away I'm not doing just a simple repair. There we go. So with AAPC in mind, would I code anything with 1, 2, 3, 4 codes, or would it be just 2 codes? More than likely, knowing them, it would just be 2 codes, not all of these too. So I would be leaning towards D after finding that heavily contaminated word, and probably just pick D and move on to my next question. They are separated out by different body parts. We know our extremities go together. They have the right arm and the right leg. They're both 5. That's going to be 10. That's cool. We know that those extremities go together. Our differences between our 32 and 34 are just going to be about size. So if we go to our 32 and 34, the only number I need to worry about is 7.5. You just take the last number of the smallest number, and anything higher than 7.5, you know, is going to be that 34. You don't need to remember that there's a 2.6 and a 7.5 and then try to remember a 7.6 and a 12.5. Don't worry about all that. Just pick the last digit up to a 7.5 and then add one item together that looks like it's going to be your biggest. I'm adding the 2 5s together because they are both extremities. We are over 7.5. So again, we know our answer has to be D, just because even alone with just these two things, I'm well on my way to being far over a 7.5. Been a long Monday for Twinkle. I'm sorry, Twinkle. A lot of times the doctors pick out the diagnosis codes. Now, it's your job if they pick out diabetes type 2 nonspecific, and then they were here for foot pain, you know, and the doctor documents that it's most likely due to their diabetes. Well, then you can't let the doctor diagnose them with nonspecific diabetes today because they're clearly having diabetic neuropathy, right? They're having nerve pain with diabetes. So you need to change their code from nonspecific to a more specific, better code. That's what you'll be doing, because they'll just be clicking the most easiest and fastest thing they can find, and then you'll clean it up. But it's all different. Most coders are risk adjusting right now because it's audit season, or they're just letting the doctors claim whatever they want to claim just so they can get their bills done. And then if they get anything rejected, somebody gets to work the rejects. But it's all different. The code for Etsy, if you're buying 2 or more items, 30% Jen. And then the code for my website is I will be CPC. Things are a little bit cheaper on my website because I don't have to pay Etsy fees. Just so you know. Oop. And I have all the ICD-10 and HipPix notes on my website. I don't have those up on Etsy. Nice. You start your externship at the hospital. Do I have any tips? No one is your friend there. Number one, do not gossip with any of the women there or male staff, anybody there. Nope. Don't confide in anybody there because it will be told on you. It's number one. Be neutral as Switzerland. Don't take a side. Don't gang up on anybody. Don't take any sides. Just listen and be Switzerland for sure. For sure. Take notes. Don't be afraid to have out a notebook and just write all the notes down, like push F2 does this, F3 does that, whatever. Take notes. Don't be afraid to take notes. And if a doctor tells you to do something, tell him to write it down. Don't take their word for anything and go do it. Tell them, no, you got to write that down. I want to make sure I can do it properly. Not that they'll talk to you very much because you're coding, but, you know, if they ever tell you to do anything, tell them, no, I'm not a dictator. You know, a dictation machine. You need to write that down. What did you say for me to do? Yeah, stay out of office politics. Do not take a side. Oh my God, yes. And if you're going to take your own lunch, have it to where you can leave it in your car or have somebody bring it to you. Putting it in a communal area that is unrecorded and left alone with other people having access to it, you don't want that. You don't want that. Or have it sealed, like not Tupperware sealed, but like sealed. Because people are strange. They like to sniff your stuff. Even if they're not going to eat it, they just like to open it and sniff. I don't know why. I don't know why. I've worked in too many hospitals. I don't know why, but they like to sniff other people's food. I don't know why. Don't leave it unsupervised. Bring it to where you don't need it refrigerated. You're not going to leave it unsupervised. Yes. Yeah. I'm serious. Don't put it in the communal refrigerator and think it's okay. They're going to sniff it. I swear to Bob, they're going to sniff. People they just, bless their hearts. I don't know why. They just want to make sure it's okay for you, I guess. I don't know why, but yeah. Yep. And when they say there's leftovers, because administration will come in and order catering food in, and then they'll say there's leftovers. Don't assume it's going to be there longer than when they said it's there and y'all can have at it. As soon as those words leave their mouth, go. Or there ain't going to be nothing left. Because sometimes it's good. Shoot. I love working for administration now because anytime I come into the office or the hospital, I have to be catered in my food. So that's the best part of being an auditor is you get free catered food. And then, that's awesome. So yeah, sometimes that stuff's great. But once it gets packed up and moved into the common area and put where other people are around it, then you're going to have the sniffers, and yeah, you don't want none of that. You don't want it. You go get it when they announce it. Don't be bashful. Go get it. Because it's worth it a lot of times. Okay. Sorry about your screen going dark. Way too much gossip. Yes. Can you explain some of the links and the repairs? Sure. So let's say your doctor is doing an excision and it is a 2.3. And you need to do margins. I probably ought to put, my mom's in there making a pumpkin pie. I can hear the blender going. 2.3. That's how big this sucker is. Well, you're going to have to make your margins clear, especially if this is cancerous or precancerous stuff. So that means that area around here, right? And if your margin is 0.5, then all you do is you take your 2.3, then you add 0.5 and 0.5 to it. You just do it twice, even though you might have a circle here that's, and you're thinking, well, do I do 4? Do I do how many 0.5s? It's a 0.5 all the way around, but all you have to do is worry about that 0.5 and this 0.5. So that's 2. So anyway, right here we got 3, and then we add, and now we've got a 3.3. And that's how you do the margins on pretty much anything. That's just what they're trying and unsuccessfully doing when they're doing those margins. Is that the only page that has the margins? I guess it is. I thought there was something else where they had margins. Oh, there it is. That's what I was trying to do, was these pages. Yeah, those margins that you're talking about. They do a really crappy job of explaining that. So our melanoma was a 1 centimeter thing, but our margins ended up being 2 centimeters on either side, because this is a melanoma. You know it's cancer. They're not going to do just a 0.5 like what I did a minute ago. So they're going to go twice as big as the melanoma around it. So that's why they got the 2. So they got a 2 point here and they got 2 point here. So you just 2 plus 2 plus 1 equals your 5. So basically, whatever one of the margin numbers is, all you do is times that by 2 or add it together twice for margins, and then you take the total of your whatever you cut out. So our margins on this one was 0.2. So that's just 0.2 plus 0.2 plus how big is this? And then that's how you get the 2.4. See the 2.2s? Yep. Yeah. They don't ask you to do that on the CPC exam. I don't know about the CPC or the CCS exam, if they make you do that. Man, if they could, if I could take that where I don't have to go to a place and take it, because I live 5 hours away from Phoenix, and that's just one-way drive and back, and that's where my charter is. Or if I go to Vegas, it's still a 4-hour day because it's 2 hours there, 2 hours back. So it'd be nice to take that CCS just to see what it's all about, see if I could pass. But I just don't want to go to a facility. It'd be nice if I could take it online. But anyway, see what y'all got on that exam. The other one was the 0.3. That was the margin. So they just added that together twice, 0.3 plus 0.3, plus the size of our item, and add it together. That's it. Just do the margin twice. Not bad. We got fingers or toes with this next one we keep looking at. So let's see. What I see is this 65 looks to be like irregular because none of the other ones have a 5 in it. So I go straight to the 30, look it up first, and 40 and 50. See what my differences are real quick on those 3 before I look at my exam question, just to see what the differences are. And then only search those differences with the question. So let's see, 11730. That's an avulsion. An avulsion of a nail. Then our 40 is an evacuation. You know how you hurt your fingernail and you get that blood underneath it, and then you drill a hole in it or whatever and release the blood and it feels so much better? That's what that one is. That is your evacuation. And then your 50 is an excision for your ingrown toenail. So we're just going to check out our questions, see what we're doing real quick. Are we doing an ingrown toenail? Yep, we're doing an ingrown toenail. Yeah. Our only one that was for an ingrown toenail was the 50. So I'd pick B and move on. I wouldn't read none of that mess. All you needed to know what you were doing today. The avulsion destroys the matrix of the nail. So just in case you don't know what's going on there, that's what An avulsion does. It prevents you from growing back your nail again. And then this is just poking a hole in it. And then this one is your ingrown nail. The other ingrown nail that you have is the 11/7/65. It is an ingrown nail, but it is a wedge. If they cut the ingrown nail out, instead of removing the whole nail, so that's your toe, right? If they just cut out a wedge part of your nail, then it would have been the 65. But if they just remove the whole nail, it's the 50. Let me rearrange this one. That one's out of place. I could have placed 30 minutes from my house. Praise God. Good. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Susie, and everybody else for contributing to the live and showing your support. Appreciate it. Oh, we got almost 7,000 likes. Thank you, guys. 73 of you guys in here. 2. I lost one. So you always want to look for what was done. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because a lot of the questions are filled with patient's history and just propaganda that you don't need to know during your exam at all. And it's meant to slow you down. They only give you 144 seconds per exam question as far as the AAPC is concerned. And the longer the question or the more answers that can slow you down and freak you out, the better. Absolutely. So you don't want to know who they are, none of their history. All I want to know is, what am I coding today? What did the doctor do today? So right here, I see, and I'm not looking at these. I'm not looking at that. I'm not even looking at that. The only thing I'm looking at is this first code and my differences in them numerically. That's it. And what I see is I have 2 that are 16s and I have 2 that are 14s. Those second and third digits are usually differences in headers. So, not descriptors. Descriptors are what's next to the code. Headers are the other things, the big bold print. So, let's go see what our differences are between the 14 and the 16 headers. So 16 is malignant lesions and 14s are benign lesions. And if you don't have the list of what benign lesions are, like cystic lesions, congenital lesions, neoplasms, just AKA terms written before you start coding that 11400, that is super helpful. Move all those vocabulary words to that CPT code descriptor or that code so that you have the full list of what is benign. And then over on the malignant ones, right before you code that 11601, put a list of basal cell carcinomas, squamous cell carcinomas, melanomas, whatever else is describing malignant words or skin stuff. Move those words to those codes so that you've got a full list next to each one. That will help you out during your exam. Okay, so all we're looking through the question for right now is to find out, are we doing a malignancy removal or just something benign? And what I have in my head is those words I just said, basal cell, squamous, or that list of, I can't pronounce half them words, the CICA, whatever, fibrosis, inflammation, whatever, cystic lesions, neoplasms. That's what I've got in my head because I moved those to the 14 codes because that list is on a different page than the codes. So you want to be sure and move them. Well, right away, our first word is basal cell carcinoma. So you know you can get rid of those neoplasms, right? We're not doing those. Now you got a 50-50 shot. What's the difference between the 44 and the 43 now? It's all we got to figure out. And 16, it's going to be just a size, right? And remember, the only number I need is the lowest numbers, biggest number. So my 43 code, all I need to know is a 3.0. Anything bigger than 3.0, we're going to be in 44. That's the only number I need to keep a track of. Anything under 3.0, we're going to stay right there at that 43. So all I'm looking for in the question is just a number. How big was this sucker that we removed? And this is what you need. That's 4 cm closure. That's what you need. And that is over your 3. So you're going to keep your A. And then you didn't read all that question. You didn't get all confused. You've only got 2 words from that whole question, which was basal cell, and then you got a number. And that's it. And you can move on to your next question. And you've guaranteed to have gotten it right because you're doing it one step at a time. We looked at our headers first, and then we looked at our descriptors. That's it. It's all you got to do. Even if you don't know what you're doing, you can do it just by doing that process, for sure. Can you show what your book looks like for different types of lesions? I don't understand what you're wanting to look at. Every single CPT code number, just about, especially the mama codes, all has a word written underneath the number, like 11970 is a replace and an implant. And then 11971, I moved and wrote removal without implant. So I know what to grab from each CPT code descriptor. I don't want to go through here and then have to evaluate each one of these CPT codes and know what the differences are, because it's the first time I looked at them when I'm taking my certification exam. I go through and look at every single 10,000 codes and put a difference down beside each one so that I know I can grab it and run when I get to a question like this. So I do that. I separate them out by, I'll show you my 2023 because I'm happier with it. You know, I always love my newer notes than I do my older notes. So I don't have any of the Integumentary done, but I do have the anesthesia one. So like if a code has a child code, I kind of put those together, and then what's my difference here? What am I doing? I'm doing my diagnostic and therapeutic of nerves, that's all. And then my differences are only other than prone or prone position. I just make note of my differences. So that's the only things I need to grab. If a code is all by itself, then if I have anything to add to that descriptor, like something I can't code with it or something I can code with it, I'll add a note. Or if I need to explain maybe something that's going on, like a patient, this says anesthesia for a cesarean. Well, just to be clear, a patient can start out with a anesthesia for a normal delivery. Just don't want to say the word. Right there, that word. But get converted to anesthesia for a C-section. You can do that with this code, even though it says just cesarean. So just kind of made it clearer. So anyway, that's what I do. If you can't use something with it, don't add imaging, don't add a certain modifier. I add those to it. Stuff like that. Now, the all the excisions are separated by body parts. So there's always that mama, and then there's that child. So if you just need to make sure you're under simple or intermediate, and then you can put the same wording they have right here, which is scalp, neck, hands, feet, and genitalia. It's there. You don't technically need to write it down along the sides of the codes, but it gets crazy trying to remember where the trunk, arms, and legs are and not be under the wrong body parts. So the next thing you got to remember is stay under your same body parts. But yeah, they're all it's just lit up like reminders and things of what to do. Nothing you can't make and do by yourself. In fact, on my website, I'll show you. Oh, it's trash cans. I got to take the trash cans down. I don't think we did that. My website here, if you do join it, I show you how to make your own notes all by yourself. Go into members, and it's free. I don't track you. I don't send you a bunch of email. But if you do join, you go under members only. You go to CPT book prep room. If I can hit the right button. And it'll show you pictures of my books and what I'm doing. You just click on the picture, and then it'll give you the instructions on what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And I've got all of the CPT there on that same page. And then I've got the anatomy, how to do it. Just click on the pictures, and it'll show you what to do. And then the ICD-10 is there too. So, and how I make notes in it. So it's all free there too, in case you need it. You're welcome. I didn't catch all those notes. All those mentions. Oh, thank you for the roses. You're awesome. Thank you, Twinkle. This is my class. Do I offer classes? This is my class. I like to teach for free. I know a lot of people charge for teaching. I like to teach for free. So I teach Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for 2 hours. And then I post those replays on YouTube for you guys. I do have paid workshops. My next one is going to be on Sunday, the 11th of December. I do them once a month. And those are a little bit more, because it's $10, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's not like what some people are charging, $150 a workshop or something. It's crazy. But just $10, and we do 3 hours on Sunday from 2 to 5, Arizona time zone. You get a Zoom link, and we're in Zoom, and we do the same amount of questions that would be expected of you during an exam. So we'll do 75 practice questions on whatever subject we're going over. December's is going to be E&M, so we'll do 75 E&M questions, and you'll get to see 75 questions in 3 hours. And then you'll hear my rationale of what I'm doing, looking at the codes first, what guideline you need to know for to answer that question, and what notes I have underneath my numbers. I tell you what I have written underneath my notes on that particular CPT code. And we'll go through and do them in 144 seconds each for 3 hours. If you pre-purchase the Zoom, then if you can't stay the whole time, I know 3 hours is a long time on a Sunday, you do get access to the replay. So there will be a log on and a password, and then you can go watch it at your own time. So that will be there, and you can book that at my website, which is, again, themedicalcodingbyjen.com, and you just go to tutoring and workshops. Yes, I do one-on-one tutoring, but it's a lot because I have to prep questions specific just for you, and I have to count that time because I do work full time, and I have 3 sons at home and my mom. And anyway, I do tutoring. It's just expensive. You get an hour and a half with me, one-on-one, but I pre-prep your questions, and then I'll go over the subject and the guidelines that you want to go over in that hour and a half. It's meant for people that have already are ready for their exam. Y'all are ready to take it. You want to see if you're ready, or you failed and you need help in 3 areas like E&M, the 6000s, and Lab and Path. And then I can prep you in an hour and a half through those questions and get you ready to take another exam coming up in like a week, or the next day, really close to when you're ready to take your exam. Anyway, my tutoring is right underneath, my workshop is right underneath that. You can just hit book now. When you get there, it's kind of weird. You just got to remember what date it's going to be on. If I can get it to do anything. There we go. So you just got to forward it over till the December the 11th. You'll see the little dot. Pick that, and then pick the 2 p.m. and then hit next, and it'll charge $10, and that's it. Just please, 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 please make sure whatever email address you put in here, that's going to be the Zoom link. It's going to there. I'm not going to be sending you tons of spam or selling you anything. So don't be afraid to put in a good email address into my website so that you can get access to the replays and stuff, because it's really hard to send everybody their own email individually when because this can auto-generate it and automatically send it out for you. So I rely on the website to send out all that stuff to all of you all at once. So that's my next one, but I try to keep everything just as cheap as possible. How long do we have access to the replay and the workshops? You'll have access for at least 60 days. And then after 60 days, I've been putting them on the replay for my members for YouTube. So my YouTube has a subscription now for like $4 a month, every month. Those people that pay for that get access to the repeat workshops after the workshops have been out for a while. Then they can watch them if they weren't around at the time when they first originally were sold. So right now they have access to 12 of the old ones. If they're paid for the YouTube subscription. And they also get their own videos of book prep. As I'm doing the 2023 book prep, they get start-off videos of how I do the start-off of every chapter. Usually includes the anatomy in the first 5 or 6 pages of that chapter, what I write underneath each code, how I circle it, and all that stuff. They get access to all of those. So far I've gotten Integumentary right, E&M, and I don't know what all, but yeah, they've got access to those. I always have to come up with something for them. And the TikTok subscribers and YouTube subscribers get their name put in the cookie jar extra for free notes and free tutoring. If you are not a subscriber or are a subscriber or whatever, if you want to enter into a contest, all you have to do is email me at medicalcodingbyjen@gmail.com and put raffle in the header, and I'll add you to the raffle for free tutoring hours. I've given away 4,000 hours of free tutoring this year already, and I can enter you in for that. And the subscribers to TikTok and YouTube get extra entries in each month that they're subscribers for those. But you get 1 entry if you just send me an email. So I got a cookie jar. My boys draw winners out. I have 2 winners of notes that I don't know have messaged me yet. I've got Miss Tate, Teresa Tate, and Vanessa that won last Friday. Free notes of their choice. So just in case they happen to be on, mentioning them. And then we got our head who won free tutoring, who I'm still trying to schedule. Whew. I think we've come together on a date. I just got to put it on my books before I forget. Yep. Thank you, Twinkle. You're awesome. Rosalind purchased 5 workshops for me to give away. Well, Rosalind, my goodness. That's right. And I've got somebody that's an employer, right, who wants to book their employees the workshops themselves for them or something. So I told her just make an account for each employee and then pay for them individually, I guess. I don't know how to do that. On my side, like let one person pay for 5 so that they all get their own link to the Zoom. I don't know. But anyway, hopefully that got done too. So that's so cool, Rosalind. I'll probably have forgotten about that. So I'm sitting here making me a note right now for the 5 free workshoppers. I'll add that to my draw for this Friday. We'll do another drawing this Friday. Make sure we get to draw 8 people out this Friday then. We'll do 5 of the workshops and 1 free tutoring and 2 free notes again. So we'll do that this Friday. Yay! Rosalind's awesome. Thank you. You got 3 sets this weekend. That's awesome, Jessica. I hope they make a difference. Now, remember, if you bought 2021 notes, maybe you didn't pass, and now I'm doing 2023, but you already paid for 2021. You don't have to pay the full amount for the notes again. Email me on the site that you bought the notes from. So if it's on eBay, message me there. If it's on my website, message me there. That way I can look up the order number. I'll make you a coupon for 70% off of the ones that you already purchased. So you just pay 30% of the cost just to upgrade your notes to the new notes in case you want the new notes. I always think they're better than the previous years, but don't forget to ask for that if you've already purchased notes and you just want to upgrade them. I have to individually make you your own coupon, so it is a thing for me to do. So I do have to sit down and do it, but I'm happy to do that. Y'all just got to keep yelling at me. Yay, you passed your... Yep, she passed her CCS. That's awesome. Yay. So we'll do 8 drawings, on Friday. All right. Ooh, we got another question here. Let's see. Mo's or Ma's? We love these. So my notes are located at, let's just say it's at medicalcodingbyjen.com because they're cheaper on here because you don't have to pay for Etsy fees. But medicalcodingbyjen.com is the website. And just go to the shop. And they're right there. There's the new anesthesia notes for 2023. I just posted those today. And then I have auditory and ocular. That's the replay for the workshop. There is the urinary system. There's the respiratory system. Just a ton of them. They're all there. There's the musculoskeletal that we were working on today, but it's the whole chapter of the CPT book and every note. If you want page by page of exactly what to write under each code or whatever, and I am an overachiever, so be wary if you buy it. It's a lot to write. You don't have to have everything that I have on there, but I am a bit of an overachiever, so just be warned. You can make these notes yourself. Absolutely, you don't have to buy anything from me. I have you a page here, CPT Book Prep, and you just click on the picture and it'll give you the instructions on what I do, why I do it, and how to do it. And you can do it yourself. But anyway, if time's running out and you got to go fast, my notes are available for you there. All right, let's do another question. So if I was seeing this question, you're going to have to train yourself not to look at the question first. Go straight down to the answers, whether you're in person or online. And don't look at these secondary or third codes. We ain't worried about that. We're only doing one code at a time. We see that we have 2 that start out with the 11 and 2 that end up, not start out, but end up with 13. Well, there's got to be a difference there. There's a reason why they're asking us. So let's go see what our differences are on those codes. So Mo's and Ma's, however you say these type of excisions. Oh my gosh, I'm losing the voice already. Haven't even talked since Thursday. I think that's my problem. They have their own set of guidelines that are separate from any of the other guidelines in Integumentary system. So keep that in mind. We do not add here. We do not multiply. We don't do any of that here. So remember that whenever you see these 17 codes, we don't add. So that's what I'm thinking of. My 11s and my 13s are only differentiated by body parts. It's easier to look at the 13s because it has a shorter body count list, which is just trunk. And what else? Oh God, I can't see that far. Arms and legs. So we only have 3 body parts to deal with when we look up the 13s. The rest of the body is all in 11. So what I'm going to do is just search my question, see if the body part that we're working on is the trunk, arms, and legs. If it's not, then I know we're in the 11. But if it is, then we're going to stay in the 13s. So right now we're getting a tumor of the neck. That's all I need to know from the question. And then I can get rid of which set of codes. Would I get rid of the 11s or would I get rid of the 13s? Where's the neck? Is the neck in the trunk? That's your chest area. Let's see. It says hands, feet, genitalia, any location involving muscle, cartilage, major nerves, blah, blah, blah. We're going to get rid of the 13s. All right. We'll get rid of the 13s then. Now you're down to a 50-50 shot. Now we can look at the second code, and it's actually in both answers, so I wouldn't even worry about it. The only thing that is different is whether we add the 15 or not. And the 15 is universal. It can go with the 11s or the 13s, but it only means if any of the blocks that we cut off this person equal up to more than 5, then we're going to add the 15. So no matter what we see in the question, if anything is like cut into 6 parts, cut into 7 parts, cut into 9, then we're going to add the 15. If everything is like number 2 or number 3 or number 4, then we're good. We're not going to add it. So that's all we're looking for. So we're just looking for numbers. So we've got our first stage was cut into 4. Sometimes they'll write the number, sometimes they'll spell the number. So you just got to get in a habit of looking for it. Where's our other number? If they're going to say we have a first stage, then you know we're going to have a second stage, which is right here. How many parts was it cut into? I know a lot of y'all have seen this question before. This one was cut into 2 pieces. Are any of those numbers higher than the number 5? Nope. And we do not add. Remember, we don't add. So the 4 is not bigger than 5 and the 2 is not bigger than 5. Then that means we don't add the 15. We just keep it on the low. Plus, most of the time, if it's a difference between having 3 codes as your answer or 2 codes as your answer for the AAPC exam anyway, it's usually the more conservative one. The answer is usually the second one, just 2 codes anyway. But yep, your answer is definitely D on that one. What do I have here? Oh, that was a wordy one. I'm going to do the wordy one. That's another wordy one. Let me move. I got answers combined with new questions. Ooh, what is this? Are we doing something in the belly? Something in the belly, because we got 4,000s. All right. Remember, we're not worried about none of these other codes or the modifiers yet. We're just looking at these numerically, and I see 2 are 49 and 2 are 20. So let's go see what our differences are real quick. So 4, 3, 2, 2, 0. I go to the first one in numerical sequence because, you know, the book's in numerical order, so we might as well just go to the baby number first. All right, 4, 3, 2. I'm slow. Y'all got to be faster than me to get to these codes. 4, 9. What are we under? What header are we under? We're not looking at our CPT code descriptor. Our CPT code descriptor is going to be on page 356 of the 2022, but our header is on page 354, which is an EGD, right? What about our 43249? Is that also an EGD? I did them backwards, right? EGD. 4220, 432. Yeah, one's an endoscope. 432. Yep, this one's the EGD. I went to the other one first for some reason. This is an endo. My book is trained to open up to that one for some reason. Endo. And then the 49 is the EGD, right? Yep, that's the EGD. So are we doing a scope or are we doing an EGD? Which codes are we getting rid of? Just by seeing that word right there. It's the only one we're going to need. We're going to get rid of those scopy ones, those baby ones, because we're going to keep the big old long word. Now we just need to know, would we add the 43 to that code. So 3-5 with our 4-9. Our 3-5 is our diagnostic. And you notice it's got the separate procedure listed as the last two words of that CPT code descriptor. What that means is this code is inside of all the other codes listed in this area, no matter what. It's just part of it. You can list it as a separate procedure if your doctor really did do a separate procedure. The only way I could see that this could happen is, you know, like if you had, y'all remember those conjoined twins where they share a pelvic area, but they both have two different esophagus and vocal cords and stuff. I could see you doing your scopes and having a separate one to go along with it for one patient. That could be interesting. But in general, this is going to be underneath all, and it's going to be inside this. If you did do it, you would have to add the modifier 59 to define it as a separate identifiable procedure that you did that was not included in this procedure. Not a 51. It would have to have the 59. But anyway, that separate procedure lets you know that that is included in any of this. So that tells you that B is your answer no matter what. Just seeing that separate procedure listed and knowing that the 49 is right underneath it. Yep. Yep. 59 is perfect. Good job, Chantel. Yep. Oh, we got, I think this next one is an E&M one, and it may not, let me put it on a separate page. It may not tell us the MDM or time, and we might have to do it by ourselves, but I'm going to scoot you down to where the answer is and see what our answer is first. So here's our answers. And what I see is we have a new patient, right? Because our O is a new. We have an established and established. And then we have another new in the middle. So first things first, we could eliminate two answers if we figured out if the patient was new or established. So up here, we'll just look to see, and we've got the word returns to the family practice. So she's been here before, right? So she's established. So we can get rid of A and C. And then all we have to do is figure out if she's a 14 or a 15. And that's, if they're not going to give you MDM or time, that's where that page, good Lord, where is that page? Comes in handy. Is it 17 and 18? That lovely chart thing that nobody knows how to read. Yeah, 17 and 18 comes in handy. So we'll check her out and we'll see that her blood pressure is out of whack. And doc ordered a unique test, and we see that they've diagnosed her with a severe exacerbation of CHF. That's a chronic condition. And this verbiage right here tells you right away what the answer is without having to count how many things got reviewed. Just seeing the word severe in any medical condition tells you what the answer is. Yep. On this lovely page, if we have one chronic illness that's exasperated, it's going to be 14. But over here, see if I can't get this on here. If it's going to be a 15, it'll say the chronic illness is severely, I don't know if y'all can see that. Yeah, right there. Severely exasperated. So anytime you see that, you know you're going to be a 5 or a 15. So super handy. Scooch you on down to the diagnosis. See what they were finalized with. If they're not going to give you time or MDM, and see if they give you this difference, and that might help you out super quick to pick out those differences. And that way we know we're going to be a 15. You might see 1 or 2 questions. Thank you, Twinkle. With this scenario, you won't see too many. We're going to have 10 cases at the end. Everybody's saying they're pretty easy. Knock on wood. They're not too bad. But you might get one that won't give you time or MDM. So those are a little bit more tricky. And usually we have to count things like how many body parts were reviewed or whatever. But check with the diagnosis real quick. See if you see the word severe. If you do, then great. Also, they sent her to the hospital. That means we had to intervene. She was going to die if we didn't admit her. So that automatically gets you a 15 too. So 14 means you might have like hypertension, diabetes, and kidney disease, but you're a hot mess, but you can go home, right? But if they're going to admit you to the hospital, you're circling the drain, and we need to bill you for 15. Now, I know all you people that are current coders and billers, you know you can't bill an office visit with an admit on the same day. This would get denied no matter what, but you can't bring your in real life coder brain to the exam. You need to pick an answer that is what AAPC is looking for. So, oh, thank you. That's awesome. Hopefully I can help. That's awesome. Thank you for the feedback. I will be back on Wednesday night. We will be doing it again at 6:30 Arizona time zone. We did 2 hours tonight. I will repost this back on YouTube. Y'all can go back and watch all my old YouTubes. There's a million of them there. Is there a note bundle? No, there's no note bundle because of file sizes. My problem is all my notes are in color and they're page by page. And even in my own website, I zip file them, or on Etsy, the file sizes are too big. They don't get emailed to you. They are housed on both sites, and you can download them from that site. But Etsy will only let me upload anything under 20 megabytes in one file. Some of my sizes, like for medicine and lab and path, those chapters are super long. There's 5 uploads for each section, and they're all right at 19.99 megabytes or whatever they are. And it's hard to get them all on there. And even in my website, I zip file them, and still the sizes are too big for all that. So I have to sell them individually. But even if you just get one section, you'll figure out what I'm doing, and you can recreate what I did and move it to the other sections. Or you get the top 3 that you're worried about, and you can figure it out on the rest. But I don't have a total 10,000 page book yet that y'all can instantly download. That's like a file size that I don't know how to do. I'm not iTech creative enough to figure out how to do that. And my sites are telling me they can't do it. Even my zip files have to be smaller. So, unfortunately, that's why I do if you buy more than 2 notes, you can put in the code and you can get 30% off. So if you're going to buy a bunch of them, then you can get some off. I price them at about 50 cents a page of my time to do them. So that's what I consider my time involved in doing this is worth. But then again, I prefer to teach y'all how to do it. You can do it yourself. You don't need me doing it all for you, and I'm happy to teach you guys how to make those notes yourself for free. But they are there if you need it, okay? But anyway, that's why they're there, if you need them. But I do my best to make sure they're the most up-to-date and easiest to read during an exam so that you guys can just directly know what to pick out of that descriptor and run to the question and do a word search with it. So I hope it helps. All right, guys, don't forget those 2 passwords. Let me see if I can't get them to type again. So the 30% Jen works for Etsy, and then I will be CPC is good for my website. Take 30% off. I think it even works for tutoring. I don't know. I don't think I excluded anything on it. But anyway, I hope to see you guys for the workshop 2 on the 11th, and I will see you guys again on Wednesday. My Gaby boy's coming in town. I'm getting ready to go hug him. I cannot wait. I wonder where they're at, driving wise. Message my oldest and see, did you get him yet? Did you find Gabe yet? I'll have to show you guys some pictures. My oldest son looks just like my dad and his best friend, which is crazy cool because my dad was a kid, he had a best friend just like Gabe. And then my oldest son has a best friend just like Gabe. They're so cute. But anyway, I'm getting all sentimental. I can't wait for them to be home. You're welcome, guys. We will do more E&M on for sure. Look at all those documents. I'm all like making up all kinds of stuff. All these notes for you guys, for sure. All right. And don't forget to join the Discord group. It's super handy dandy. It's got all kinds of practice questions and even compliance and regulatory information. Tons of stuff y'all need to be adding into your books. I updated this list this weekend too for you guys. Be sure and grab that and throw it in a book because you do get asked about your different parts of the books of the A, B, C, and D of Medicare. Anyway, the workshop is going to be 2 p.m. Arizona time zone, 2 p.m. to 5. I hope to see you there. We'll do about 75 E&M questions. No chitty chat. We'll be down to business. I'll see you then. Good night.